Good morning. If you'll take a seat, we're going to get started. Good morning and welcome to the 17th Annual Global Retailing Conference, brought to you by the Terry J. Lundgren Center for Retailing. I'm Melinda Burke, Director of the Lundgren Center. We've assembled an outstanding group of industry leaders and experts who will share with you the trends, technology, and strategies essential to aspiring innovation in business today. I hope by the time you leave here on Friday, you will have innovative ideas to trigger consumer demand, or you'll discover new technologies that will benefit both your organization and your customer. Please be sure to pull out the evaluation form in your packet and let us know what you think. Your feedback is very important to us. I also want to thank the Terry J. Lundgren Center for Retailing Corporate Advisory Board partners who will be assisting with our speaker introductions throughout the conference. The importance of these industry education partnerships cannot be overstated. They are essential to our mission in research, education, and outreach. Thanks also to the outstanding team in the Lundgren Center that helped make this conference a reality. That team is led by Kim Brook and Annette Garcia. I want to thank them for their effort. Finally, I'd like to thank the companies listed on the screen behind me for their generous support of this event. This year we're doing something a little different. We're going to ask you for feedback. Just as we're presenting topics and content to you, we're going to ask you for your response. So what we'd like to do today is start with our first question. So you'll be using your smartphone. This is a little bit like American Idol. You'll be giving us your thoughts and your impressions to this first question. So the question is, to ensure future success, my organization's key innovation efforts are currently focused on, and you have 7 choices: branding, 286824, customer experience, 286825, environmental sustainability, 286826, Hispanic marketing, 286827. These are your codes, how you make your selection. Multi-channel retailing, 286828, social media, 286829, or none of the above, 286830. So vote now. So if you'd please pull out your smartphone and text your code. I think you need to go back to that number. Oh, look at that, we already got it. Okay, so text your answer to 22333, and let's see what's on your mind. Do so now. The choices again are, can you go back, Matt, to the choice slide, and we'll go back in. Branding, customer experience. Can you read the numbers? If you can read the numbers, I won't repeat those. But branding, customer experience, environmental sustainability, Hispanic marketing, multi-channel retailing, social media, or none of the above. So text your 5-digit response to 22333. Very interesting. So we know that it's the customer experience, and I think that's a good thing for Mr. Lundgren, who's about to come up here next and speak. So with that, we will do a number of these questions throughout today and tomorrow. So this is the same process we'll use with every question. You'll text your 5-digit or 6-digit answer to the code that you'll be given in the question. So let's explore these topics a bit further, and I'd like to bring to the stage our keynote speaker this morning, Mr. Terry Lundgren, Chairman, CEO, and President of Macys, Inc. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for joining our conference. We have a really terrific lineup of presenters today, and I know I'm going to learn a lot, and hopefully everybody's got something to take away here when we conclude these two terrific days of sessions. So let me start by for thanking Melinda and the great job she does here at the University of Arizona retailing program. She's just really built a great curriculum here. She's got a great team and staff around her, excellent instruction, and of course, we've been able to attract just a first-class group of students that we're just very, very proud of. Over 500 now into the program, making it one of the largest retail programs in the country. And it goes beyond retail. I mean, these kids are learning about the wholesale business, they're learning about the design business, they're learning about marketing. So any one of your companies, feel free to do some recruiting here at the university, because you're going to find some great talent who are really interested in our industry. So let me get started. These next 2 days are going to be all about innovation, and again, the speakers that we've identified, I think here, really are going to be able to portray some fantastic examples here. I'm going to kick off and talk about some of the things that we're doing at Macys Inc. In particular, Macys and specifically Bloomingdale's also, but specifically the things that we're doing at Macys Inc. Like Melinda, I'm going to ask you a question, so keep those cell phones out. Usually we say, put your cell phones away, turn them off, but this is a conference where we're going to ask you, just say, turn your ringer off, if you will. But keep them handy, because we're going to ask you some questions. And my question to start us off is, what do you think is inspiring innovation today? And here's our question. Same code you're responding to, 22333 is who you're dialing to, but the answers here are technology, and the number being 286930, or is it globalization, 286931, or is it shareholder return, 286932, or what do you think is inspiring innovation today? Could that be customer demand, 286933, or speed to market, 286934, or sustainability, 286935. So that's our question for you, and I'll let you take a second to answer that. Customer demand takes an early lead, but technology is moving in. We have a horse race. And these numbers will develop, but typically I find when we do these surveys, the early leads sort of hold their leads. And so I don't think there's a wrong answer here, right? Because it's really about your business and what you feel is really causing the motivation to push forward on innovation. I think for me, the technology piece has changed so much, so fast. There's so much available to us, but indeed it responds to many of these other subjects. It enables all of these other subjects. So like I said, there's no wrong answer, but I certainly can't argue with technology and customer demand, the combination of the two. Next slide, please, is anybody who's younger than I am knows what this is, but this is a QR code in the center of the Macys Star, and we have these now throughout our in-store experience, and I have a strong belief that the bricks and mortar need to take on some of the very easy and positive initiatives that take place online in online shopping, which makes shopping so easy and so interesting. And so we have to bring that technology and that experience inside our stores. And so one small way that we're beginning to do that at Macys is by using these QR codes. And so you'll actually do something similar, but you'll actually photograph that square in the middle, and all of our sales associates have this identification. But within 20 departments within our stores, whether it be Rachel Roy or Martha Stewart or Bobby Brown in cosmetics. You'll just click on and photograph this QR code, and it'll play back for you on your smartphone a video from each one of these designers or entrepreneurs, and they'll talk about their product, or they'll talk about, in Bobby Brown's case, applying makeup and what's right for you, and Rachel Roy will talk about the right dress, the right apparel, and some confidence-building ideas. And so I just love the idea of sort of using technology to bring the personalities of these designers and business owners into the shopping experience inside our stores. And so to me, this kind of idea is a perfect example of how we'll be able to make the in-store shopping experience reflect some of the benefits that you now get as you shop online. And I have to point out that Macys 4 years ago was not a national department store, so we could not advertise on our own Macys Thanksgiving Day parade, and that just used to make me crazy, because we weren't a national company, and over time, when we were able to acquire companies, build our size, and expand across the nation and fill in basically all the geography to all of the states, the key states of the United States, including Hawaii and Guam and Puerto Rico, and really expand our brand. Then could we advertise nationally? Well, that was just step one. We've come so far, like so many of you have, in using technology to further your brand. To me, this is like the next step. This is branding 2.0 here, and how do we go to the next level of branding and inside the in-store experience. Next is just a little recap of some of the business performance. This is last year for us and some of the other retailers. And I would tell you that some of the food retailers, like Walmart, they're going to do much, much better as food starts to inflate here in the second half of this year. It's already beginning now, and you'll start to see some of that show up. But overall, it's a pretty good year for retail, considering what we came off of the prior year. And the next slide, and you see the high-end stores doing very well. They did very well again last month, as did our own Bloomingdale store, did very well in this group. And this is just sort of recap for our company. We had $25 billion last year in sales, 6.4 increase, and you can just see the earnings growth that came along with it. A lot of good things happen when sales grow, and it certainly did in our company and so many others last year in 2010. And then 2011 is starting off well. Again, this is showing consumer confidence. I just did this morning here, which is a great sign. We had Squawk Box CNBC is here this morning covering the conference, and I did an interview this morning, and they clearly knew we were not in New York City with the background of the mountains and the cactus. I mean, they're drooling back in New York City. I would say, yeah, I was there 24 hours ago. I'm so happy I'm here right now. It's very different in many ways, but retail sales are really starting to pick up. This morning, we announced a 0.9% increase for our company, planned down between 2 and 3%. And that is, of course, because Easter was in March last year, and it's in April this year. Major difference in our business. So we're planning, and I forecast this a lot already this morning, that we're planning up 8 to 9% same-store sales in the month of April. So we're estimating between 4 and 4.5 on same-store sales for the combined March and April results. And I think you're seeing the high-end stores again. The high-end brands, especially high-end stores, including our own Bloomingdale's, all doing well. Good sign indicating the high-end consumer is back in the market again, and she and he are back indeed buying. So back to the innovation subject and some of the things that we're doing now. Here's just a few examples of some of the things we'll do. Starting with Clinton Kelly, we're doing $1 million makeover, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute, where we had a contest that was totally driven on Facebook. So we didn't advertise it anywhere except for on Facebook, on our page, and we had 20,000 applicants to be the ones who would be discovered and would win a contest where we would give them $1 million makeover, meaning make over the individual, make over their family, make over their home, make over their dog, make over everything, make a full experience, because $1 million, you can buy a lot of stuff at Macys for $1 million. So we had to extend, what else we could buy. And then down below, the Believe campaign, which won lots of awards this past year from the marketing associations, where the Believe in the spirit of Christmas and the holiday period. And we actually created our own animated 30-minute movie that played on CBS and won the time slot there. It's our second year, and it really got a lot of traction this past year. Up in the top corner, we're connecting with the youth in terms of all this, again, all online here, where we connected with the youth of the Chicago market and created a block party and a spring break party just in advance of spring break to talk about the clothes that they needed to buy before they went on spring break. Certainly when they were leaving Chicago weather in March, going to Florida typically or something like that, they definitely needed new clothes. So we tied them into that. And so just many examples of some of the things we're doing, all driven by new ways of communicating with customers. None of these are advertised in the newspaper. There's a place for that, but just a demonstration of some of the new things that are happening. Next, we've done, before I get to this one, I'm going to talk Martha Stewart's going to show in her presentation another example of some of the things that we did on YouTube. Again, only launched on YouTube, not intended to be shown on television or other places, but we did several of these events, and Martha's going to show a great little clip that we did with her where she makes over a fraternity house on campus. And it was really fabulous. And again, it just became viral and got just tons and tons of media impressions and hits and passed around. So this is the QR code that I was telling you about, and some of the examples that we have with Martha and Tommy Hilfiger and Rachel Roy and Jessica Simpson and a number of Michael Kors, number of our either exclusive brands or limited brands, Sean Combs, and they are talking about their brand and talking about their product. And I really love this idea because it gives them the opportunity to connect with the individual customer about why you might want to buy my brand. And I just think this has got such huge potential for us. Today, we always try to feature, of course, the brands that are exclusive to us. And we have many now. In fact, last year, over 40% of Macys business last year was done by brands that are only sold at Macys. And obviously, we all want something like that, because if the customer likes the brand and wants it, obviously, if they can only come to you for that product, that's obviously a good thing. And I always underline, it's not just about having exclusive product. You really have to do your homework and make sure that, in fact, this brand is wanted, number one, and most importantly, that the talent is behind that brand to deliver over and over and over, month after month, delivery after delivery of the kind of product that the consumer is looking for. And that, I think, is where the hit and misses occur on exclusive brands. And our group works very, very hard to make sure that we attach ourselves to the brands that have lots of talent behind the individuals. It's not just Martha, it's not just Tommy, it's not just Rachel Roy, it's the talent behind that, those big name leaders that helps create the product day in and day out that's so important to us. And we're trying, as I said, we're trying to make our stores more like the online shopping experience. We're growing our Macys.com business. Last year is over $1 billion, and Bloomingdale's was over a couple $100 million at the .com businesses, and they're both growing at 30%, and they have for the last few years. So those numbers just keep on growing. So obviously the customer likes shopping this way. There's just no stopping that. So the key is, how do you integrate that experience? How do you make sure that you bring the online shopper into your stores? And there's ways to do that. And the customers, we keep asking customers, keep talking to them about, well, what is it that you like about the store shopping experience that you don't get online? And with all the things that we do so well online, that interaction with an individual, with a great selling associate who can talk to you about what looks good on you or what makeup is right for you, that is such a key advantage for the in-store shopping experience that we know we can leverage that and push traffic into our stores from the online experience. And by the way, vice versa. And the other thing I think we should all take advantage of, for those of us who have online and bricks and mortar, is to make sure that, in our case, I I love taking returns in our stores. I love if you buy online and you've got a return, and obviously returns are always higher when you buy something in a catalog or online than they are if you have already tried it on in the store. And so if they're going to return it, please return it to our stores. I want you to return it to our stores because that gives me another shot at the customer to trade up and sell her more than when in fact she has returned. And so we do that. So the whole connection of the online and in stores, I think, is really, really important. So we've done 20 of these, but let me give you an example of one. I think the one we selected here is from Rachel Roy, and just this is an example of what we do when you click on this your cell phone. So here we go. Oh, it's Tommy Hilfiger. Sorry, I think Rachel's following.
The inspirations have come from my lifestyle. East Coast prep. It's New England. It's Americana, but it's also with a twist of rock and roll.
I just love the personality coming out of the designers and talking about their brands and their relationship with the brand and the consumer. Next, I want to talk about brand integration, and we've had that for a long time. We've had Johnny Carson, talk about little Eddie sitting on Macys Santa Claus lap, and we've had Lucille Ball talking about the Macys Thanksgiving Day Parade. So we've always sort of had it by chance. Now we all work very hard at brand integration. So by sponsoring these programs or having a wall of Macys exclusive merchandise like ink on Project Runway's accessory wall, or we've done, we move on and off of these various programs just depending on what seems to be right for us at a particular time. And I think this is the next evolution is this one I'm going to show next, which is a clip with Jimmy Kimmel and his show about brand integration, talking about our $1 Million Makeover program. So show this next clip.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel with a word about Macys Fashion Director, an interactive game that challenges you to custom create outfits for every occasion this fall. It can make all the difference when you're shopping for yourself or even someone else. Take our friend Yaya, for example. Here's how Yaya's gift-giving experience might go without Macys Fashion Director.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Oh, thanks.
Love the packaging.
Beautiful.
Oh, no.
Good acting. And now, here's how that might go with Macys Fashion Director.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. What did you get me?
From Macys for you.
Oh. Pack that kind of tight. Okay.
You like it?
I love it. And shoes.
And shoes.
And a handbag.
Bag.
Oh. I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah, it's
Thank
beautiful.
you, sweetheart.
Who's this?
I don't know.
Who's that?
I don't know. Oh, Dad.
And I'm taking
What's
the
going
bag.
on?
Well, that's a shame, but I think we can all agree that Macys Fashion Director comes out smelling like a rose, right, Yaya?
I guess so, Jimmy.
So again, another way to go about it as opposed to just running a typical ad in the middle of a Jimmy Kimmel show, integrating the brand into the program. Social media, of course, has just taken off, has become such an important part of all of how we communicate with our customers. And I remember an early conversation years ago when someone talked to me about being part of all of these various the typical Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and the like, and the question being look. Are you ready to participate? Are you ready to join in? And I said, well, is there a way that we're not going to participate whether we like it or not? And they said no, because they're going to talk about your brand. You will be part of the conversation. So the question is, do you want to participate and join in and maybe direct some of the conversation, or just let people talk about you? And so I think it's important to understand that the social media is actually talking about your brands today, whether you like it or not, and there's nothing you can do about that other than participate and make sure the facts are clear and try to get out the message that you think is appropriate to be be heard. In the digital space, 3 years ago we spent zero. Last year we spent about $120 million in advertising in the digital space, so we became irrelevant to significantly impactful on the digital world, and we're planning on continuing to grow that number significantly, and in many ways it's coming out of other traditional media, so it's not necessarily just growing on our overall spend, but in fact shifting our spend in rather dramatic ways. And we've done it in different ways, of course, to connect with the consumer. This top left corner is a comedian who we actually had living in the Macys window in Herald Square on 34th Street for a week. And he was communicating on his screen, on his laptop, but on the screen and behind him on Twitter and on his other Facebook's accounts and the like, talking about his experience living there. And it was co-branded with Downy because Downy was trying to show that you could live, in a Macy's window with their products, cleaning you up and making you smell fresh and be clean and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of a very different approach again to co-branding and using other of our sources. Good for that exposure for the Downy brand, and obviously fun for us to experience in all different kinds of ways. The one in the lower right corner was so great. This was what we called a random act of culture, where we had 600 men and women from the Philadelphia choir come into our store, and all of a sudden, because we have the largest pipe organ in the world inside of our store from an old John Wanamaker's store that we operate every twice a week for concerts, and we broke into a concert of the Hallelujah Chorus on the Saturday before Christmas, and we had the entire customer base stop what they were doing and start singing the Hallelujah Chorus. It was just unbelievable, but just these kind of random acts and spontaneous acts, I think, just are making the whole shopping experience more interesting, and to me, it just gives me more and more ideas about what's next. So just a quick look at some of the other, social channels, and we have a quick video highlighting some of the social work that we're doing, and I'll play that next.
I'm Clinton Kelly, and this is Macy's $1 Million Makeover.
Yeah, so again, totally viral. We had customers using their cell phones, taking pictures of that experience inside the store, and YouTube just, took and ran with it, and just became an incredible viral experience that got passed around 7 million times in the month of November or December, I guess. So lots of different things, lots of different ways, I think, to communicate with the customer that are very innovative, and I think that this opportunity to evolve our messaging is just going to grow and change and improve over time. And I think you just can't do one. You have to look at all of these options, but still at the same time be focused on your brand and focused on your message and make sure it's consistent with the message that you want your brand to stand for. But we are really, I use the word reimagining the marketing process for the Macy's brand, and I believe we're at the beginning of the curve. I think we know this, but customers are going to be not just using their cell phone device, their mobile device to click on videos, but in fact to check pricing and to connect with their friends and to show their friends what they're buying and pictures of themselves in the fitting rooms and the like. So I just really think that we're going to all be very, very connected in the shopping experience, and the more we can think and get in front of making our stores as interesting as our online experiences, the more we're all going to benefit from that in the future. And then I would also say in our case, a major part of the good things that are working for us is the emphasis on the local customer. So the fear I had was, when we got this big company, we changed 400 department store names in one day in 2006 to the Macys brand, and we were making all these big moves that made a lot of sense for efficiency and made a lot of sense for the brand of Macys, but did it make sense for individual customers living in individual cities like Tucson and around the country? And that's what we had to make sure we did, and that's what we call the My Macys organization structure. So we completely replaced our structure. We have individuals living, in this case, in Phoenix, Arizona, where we have a district team that is buying merchandise, directing merchandise for the Arizona market, and really helping us understand the customer living in each individual market, because ultimately that is what it's about. It's about being able to use and leverage the size and the name of powerful brands like those who are presenting today and who are in this room, but also, most importantly, understanding how that big brand name relates to individual customers. How does this relate to me? Is this my Macys? And that's what that idea is all about. And it's really created for us an opportunity to change our focus into a growth initiative. And with a 4.6% comp store sales growth last year and running in that range and maybe better than that for the first quarter of this year, we just see more and more of these opportunities for growth as long as we focus on the individual customers. So with that, I'll just say thank you all for listening and for being here, because I appreciate every one of you and your participation at the University of Arizona Retail Conference. Thank you. Melinda, do I have time for a question or two? Okay, we have time for a question or two. I can't see you, but hopefully someone will with a microphone out there, and they'll be able to ask, if you raise your hand or wave it a little bit, they'll be able to give you a microphone and ask the question. Any questions from anyone? Like I said, I can't see you, so yes, there's someone over here.
Hi, thank you. Hey, it was a great presentation, and about 2 weeks ago, I did walk the Herald Square store, and I went from the Blues area to the Bobby Brown area to the Tommy Hilfiger area, and not all of the social media elements were working. How do you get your front lines to make sure that these elements are working and engaging? And when I asked all three salespeople, the only one who could respond to me what was happening was the cosmetic person at Bobby Brown. And I think so many marketers want to spend this money, but they know that the front lines can't support it, and they don't want to miss that message. How do you make sure that this works for you at the sales floor?
First of all, I think that's an excellent question and frustrating observation at the same time. But one I take very, very seriously, because we can't miss. We can't be 1 out of 3. We have to be 100% every day and for every customer or every shopping experience. And we are evolving. We have 166,000 employees. 130,000 of them are in the store line. So to me, that's the key. The 130,000, the ones who are interacting with our customer. And last fall, and now just this month, beginning of this month and the end of last month, we've devoted ourselves and put the expense in to train these 130,000 individuals. And we've never done that before. Obviously, everybody has a version of training, but to train 130,000 people and to take them off the floor on initiatives exactly like this is a big step and a big investment on our part, but it's mandatory. We have to do that in order to address the observation that you just made and make sure that that isn't the standard, but that in fact is a rare exception. So we will get better. We will improve that. I'm disappointed in that experience. I'd like to think that that's not the experience of all of our customers who are coming into our stores, but it's a clear indication to me that we're definitely not done yet and have got to get better. Thank you. One more question? Hearing none, I'm going to exit the stage. Thank you very much.